Hello and welcome. Today, we're taking a journey into one of the most incredible systems in the entire universe, and it's flowing inside you right now. So let's dive in. I want you to picture this for a second. A river. Not a river of water, but a river of life flowing through you. And that isn't just some poetic metaphor, it's the fundamental reality of your blood. It's this dynamic, life-sustaining system that connects every single part of who you are. So here's our game plan. We're going to navigate this river in 5 parts. We'll start with the basics. Then we'll break blood down into its 2 main components. After that, we'll meet the amazing cells that do all the heavy lifting, see them in action, and finally, take a look at what happens when this delicate system, well, breaks. All right, first up, the river of life. Let's get a handle on the body's most essential fluid. So what is blood officially? Well, it's actually classified as a connective tissue, which is kind of wild because it's a fluid. Its main gig is basically logistics. It's the ultimate delivery service, dropping off all the good stuff like oxygen and nutrients, and then hauling away all the trash like carbon dioxide and other waste products. You can really boil its massive job description down to 3 core functions. First, transport, which we just covered. Second is regulation. This is where it's busy managing your body temperature, your pH balance, and fluid levels, basically keeping your internal environment perfectly tuned. And finally, there's protection. This is where it stops leaks and fights off any invaders. Okay, let's move on and deconstruct this river. Section 2, blood's 2 halves, where we look at the liquid part and the living part. You know, what's really cool is how simple this breakdown is. If you were to spin your blood in a centrifuge, you'd find it's just 2 main things. You've got this liquid matrix called plasma, which makes up a little over half. And the rest, about 45%, is all the solid stuff, the cells and cell fragments, which we call the formed elements. So let's talk about that liquid majority first. The plasma, that's the river itself. It's mostly water, which makes it a perfect way to transport everything. But dissolved in that water, you've got all these crucial proteins, nutrients, and electrolytes, things like sodium and potassium, that are absolutely vital for your nerves and muscles. Now, what about that other 45%? Well, that brings us to section 3, the cellular workforce. It's time to meet the microscopic heroes cruising through your veins.
This is the crew that's traveling in that plasma river, and you've got 3 main players. First, the vast majority are your red blood cells, or erythrocytes. These guys are the oxygen haulers. Then you have your white blood cells, or leukocytes, which are like your immune system's security force. And finally, you have platelets, the emergency repair crew. And notice this, the white blood cells make up less than 1% of the total. They're outnumbered, but they are incredibly powerful. Let's zoom in on the most common cell, the red blood cell. I love this analogy, the oxygen couriers. They have this unique kind of donut-like shape, indented in the middle. And that shape gives them a massive surface area, making it super easy to quickly pick up and drop off oxygen. The key to that is a special protein packed inside called hemoglobin. And just to give you a sense of scale, get this. Your body is a factory running at a completely unbelievable pace. It is churning out roughly 2 million new red blood cells every single second. Just to keep up. How amazing is that? Next up, the security force. Your white blood cells are literally your body's mobile army. They're constantly on patrol, identifying and neutralizing threats. So whether it's a bacteria, a virus, or some other invader, this is the team that goes to war to keep you safe. And finally, we've got the emergency repair crew. Platelets are so cool. They're not even complete cells. They're just little fragments. But the second a blood vessel gets damaged, they spring into action, rushing to the scene to form a quick plug and stop you from bleeding out. So now that we've met the team, let's see how they all work together. On to section 4, blood's essential jobs. Let's see how your blood protects and repairs you in an emergency. So the official term for stopping bleeding is hemostasis. And the really crucial part here isn't just plugging a leak. It's doing it without stopping blood flow everywhere else in your body. It has to be a super precise, localized response. And it happens in this brilliant 3-stage process. First, the blood vessel itself literally squeezes shut to reduce the blood flow. Then, step 2, our platelets arrive, get all sticky, and form a temporary plug. But that's not the end of the story. For the final step, a whole cascade of proteins creates a strong mesh, kind of like a net that traps red blood cells and makes a really stable, durable clot.
But, what happens when this perfectly balanced system gets disrupted? Well, that brings us to our final section, when a system breaks. Let's take a quick look at some common blood disorders. Let's take a really common example, anemia. So on one side, you've got normal blood, tons of red blood cells ready to do their job. But with anemia, there's a problem with those oxygen carriers we talked about. Either you don't have enough of them, or they're not carrying enough oxygen. And the result? Less oxygen gets to your tissues, which leads directly to those classic symptoms like feeling tired and weak all the time. And the problem can really go in either direction for any of these parts. You can have too many red blood cells, which makes your blood dangerously thick. You can have too few white blood cells, leaving you vulnerable to infection. Or too few platelets, which means you can't form clots properly. It really is all about that delicate balance. Which brings us right back to where we started. This quote just sums it up perfectly. The state of your blood is, so often, a direct reflection of your overall health. It's like a barometer for everything that's going on inside your body. So, I'll leave you with this thought. Every single drop of your blood is telling a complex, constantly changing story about your health, your history, and your life. The real question is, what story is yours telling right now?